The Irish Republican Army, or IRA, is a paramilitary group that was initially founded in Dublin in 1919 to fight the British during the Irish War of Independence and gain a unified Ireland. They have heavily used guerrilla tactics and backed the nationalist Irish cause for total Irish independence. Out of the Irish War of Independence came the Anglo-Irish Treaty, a treaty that gave the Irish a Catholic free state in the south and allowed the British to keep the Protestant north under the new province Ulster. This treaty left much of the IRA dissatisfied. The Anglo-Irish Treaty fractured the IRA, and they soon began fighting themselves in a small civil war between those who supported and those who opposed the treaty. In the end, the pro-treaty side won the ideological skirmish, and the IRA fell out of the spotlight, with tensions high and relations still icy. Approximately 40 years later, in the Protestant North, tensions began to rise. In the latter half of the 1960s, discrimination against the Catholic minority started to become center stage. The Northern Ireland Civil Rights Movement began to try and give Catholics guaranteed rights and end the discrimination when it came to housing and employment. The civil rights advocates constructed demonstrations and started rallies and protests. The civil disobedience was met with harsh and violent backlash from the British and Protestant police force, and soon after, the British Army had been brought in. These tensions once again forced the IRA apart. The organization was split into the official IRA, who was based out of Dublin, and the provisional IRA, who was based out of Belfast in North Ireland. The officials sought to resolve these issues peacefully, while the provisionals believed violence was the essential catalyst for change. The Provisional IRA moved in to protect Catholic communities and started carrying out targeted attacks against the British Army and police forces. This brought the backlash from British forces, as well as inspiring a number of small, loyalist cells that opposed the nationalists. The violent back and forth and events like Bloody Sunday sparked the 3-decade conflict that would become known as the Troubles. Patrick Radden Keefe is an award-winning investigative journalist from The New Yorker and has extensive education in law, politics, and economics from Cambridge, the London School of Economics, and the Yale School of Law. His New York Times best-selling book, Say Nothing, shows the intense effects the Troubles had on life in North Ireland. It focuses in on the murder of a 38-year-old mother of 10, but he goes on to express the way the IRA affected the life in Ireland. It gives insight into the motivation and goals the IRA had. Their goals were to drive the British out of Ireland and gain a voice or a seat at the table. They meant to achieve this by targeting economic and political functions in North Ireland. And the way they used their voice, the way they communicated, was with violence. Keefe points out that these attacks were attacks on the businesses or properties owned by the British or British sympathizers. It was an attempt to weaken the British hold. However, weakening the hold of the British often meant damaging civil society. In his investigation for Say Nothing, Keefe discovered a wall of secrecy and regret regarding many of the actions that were taken during the Troubles. He found that they believed in their mission and their goals, but that through the Troubles, their means and intentions became tainted. They didn't want to kill innocent people. They simply wanted their country to be unified and their voices to be heard. Their message was this: we are here. You have to talk to us. If we have to bomb our way to the negotiating table, we will. much of the rage and violence expressed through the Troubles can be seen ignite after the event known as Bloody Sunday. On January 30th, 1972, British paratroopers interrupted a peaceful civil rights protest in Derry, a town in North Ireland. The British troops opened fire and killed 13 unarmed Catholic protesters and injured many more. After this, the IRA's recruitment soared and terror spread as the series of retaliation between British forces and the IRA escalated and continued for the following decades. This cycle of violence continued through the 80s and into the 90s, where peace finally seemed close at hand. Ireland's political Republican Party, Sinn Féin, was able to bring everyone to peace talks, and in 1998, the Good Friday Agreement was passed. The agreement included a new power-sharing government in Northern Ireland, partial IRA decommissioning, and an understanding that Northern Ireland would only remain a part of Britain so long as the majority wanted to remain a part of Britain.